Namaste and welcome back. My name is Nikhilesh. In this video, we'll talk about how to build an AI agent that can act like an email assistant. So, if you have attended any of my lectures, my sessions, whenever I talk about AI agents, I always give an example of email assistant, that how AI can access our email and can generate responses for the emails that we have received. So many people were asking me that, how can we actually create those email assistants? So LangChain has actually come up with this code and tutorial. So let's see how actually we can create it. So what we'll do, we'll create an AI agent that can basically classify incoming messages. So first it will classify an incoming message and it will decide whether to respond to that email. So if that email is urgent, it will decide to respond. If it's a marketing or promotional email, it will choose to ignore. And if it's just for our information, it will just notify us that this is what has happened. The first thing is that, so after it classifies the response, it will draft the response, and at the same time it can also schedule meetings for us. So it will check the calendar, and based on the availability, it can actually schedule the meeting. So this is what we'll be doing. So if you see in the if we try to draw a graph, if you see, this is what we'll be building. So we have an email will come. So we have this triage router. It will decide whether to respond, whether to notify, or to whether to ignore. Now, if model decides to respond, we have another loop. If it decides to notify or ignore, the process will end. But if it decides to respond, then again it will call the agent will call a tool, and based on that it will generate the response, and then the process will end. So this is what we'll be building. So as usual, let's first install the libraries. So we'll be using LangChain OpenAI, because we'll be using OpenAI model, and then we'll be using LangGraph. LangGraph, as we know, is used for making AI agents, and then as usual our Python environment. So now what we are doing, we are importing OS, and then we are accessing our API key. How you can access the API key? So this is a paid API key. You have to first log in on openai.com, and then you have to buy minimum $5 of credit. And then once you get the API key, you can come here and then you can add your Open API key, and then you have to, whatever name you are specifying here, you have to specify the same name here. I think we have discussed this multiple times, so let's do this. So now we are let's set a profile. So what we are saying, so this is the profile of the person who will be using this email assistant. So the name is Rahul, full name Rahul Dravid. What is the background? He is a senior software engineer leading a team of 5 developers. So what is the prompt instruction? So we have triage rules. Ignore if it's a marketing newsletter, spam email, Maersk company announcement, then just ignore that email. Notify if a team member is out sick. Build system notifications, project status updates. Just for our information, we just have to notify. Basically, the agent has to notify us, and then in respond, direct questions from team members, meeting requests, critical bug reports, where we have to respond to that query. So basically, we have model AI agent will decide and respond. So now, and then agent instructions: use these tools when appropriate to help manage Rahul's task efficiently. So this is our prompt instruction. This is the triage rules, and then we'll also building the tools. So I think this is very exciting stuff. How can we build this tool so that basically first model can actually understand, it can classify, and then it can actually respond to that email. So let's have an incoming email from Rahul's teammate Anjali Singh. This is this is her ID, and then Rahul Dravid, this is his ID, and then subject quick question about API documentation. Hi Rahul, I was reviewing this API documentation for the new authentication service and noticed a few endpoints seem to be missing from the specs. And then let's see how so let me run all these things. So now this is the email that we have got. Okay, so now what we are importing few libraries and classes. So pydantic is a very important function. Field actually defines how basically we can structure the data, and then literal actually helps us in defining categories. So we'll be defining 3 categories here. So these are the things that we have done. Now let's specify our model GPT-4o mini, and then what we are saying, we are inheriting the class, we are creating router which is inheriting from base model, and then what we are saying, analyze the unread email and route it according to its content. Okay, and also show us step-by-step reasoning behind the classification. And then we have specifically we have 3 categories: ignore, respond, notify, and then we are also passing this thing. So let's see. And now what we are doing, we are passing router and creating our LLM router. And what we are doing here, then we are creating a triage prompt. So what does it say? It is defining the role that you are this person's full executive assistant. You are a top-notch executive assistant who cares about this person's, in our case Rahul's, performing as well as possible. This is the background. If you see, user profile background is senior software engineer. Background is here, senior software engineer leading a team of 5 developers. So we are passing the background, and then what we are seeing that this person gets lots of emails. So your job is to categorize each email into one of these 3 categories. Then classify the below email one of these categories with this thing, and I'll show you how we define. So triage number, emails that are not worth responding to, which is triage no. And these are the other things that should know about but don't require an email response. We are saying triage underscore notify. And emails that are worth responding to will become triage underscore email. And then based on that, we have created a triage system prompt. And now we are defining a triage user prompt. So please determine how to handle the below email thread. So from author to subject email thread. So now what we are doing, basically now we'll format how actually we need the data. So if you see full name, user profile background, then triage underscore no, right? If it's ignoring, triage underscore notify, triage underscore prompt. Okay, and then we are specifically defining our user prompt, then from the value which we'll get from the from to subject body. So far so good, right? We are just basically creating our prompt, and then now we are invoking our LLM router by passing our system prompt, user prompt. We already have that email which came from Anjali Singh, and now we'll see the result. So if it says, so the email contains a direct question from a team member Anjali regarding API documentation and requires classification on specific endpoints. Since it seeks a response regarding where the omissions were intentional or if an update is needed, it fits the category of emails that need a direct response from Rahul. So we gave that email, and AI agent correctly classified that this email required a response. So now we have created this triage. The first part is done. So we have created, we sent an email, and then based on that, AI agent has figured out that whether an email response should be provided, or it should be notified to Rahul, or it should ignore. So it has said that it has to create a response. Now let's create our tools and agents. Okay, so from LangChain underscore core tools, we'll import agents so that we can make, so we'll import tools so that we can create tools. So we'll be creating 3 tools. First is writing email. Second is scheduling meeting, and third is your check calendar. Now let's see all these. So what we are saying, we are creating a tool, write email, for which we are sending to subject and the content, right? So write and send an email. So this is what the first tool is. Second tool is schedule meeting. Here we are passing attendees, subject, duration in minutes, and your preferred day. So schedule a calendar meeting. So in real, basically it will check, it will have access to the calendar, and it will check, and it will give us the preferred time, or the time when the person is available. Currently what we'll do, we'll hard code these things for the demonstration purposes. So now if you see, check calendar availability for a given day, and we are specifically saying that available times are 9 a.m., 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. So this is your calendar availability. So based on that, for these three timings only, the agent will schedule the meeting. Now let's create our main agent, okay, and define our prompt. So this is your agent system prompt. So you are executive assistant. This is what we did earlier. You are a top-notch executive assistant who cares about performing as well as possible. And then we have also passed the tools. Earlier it was just for the triage. And then you have access to the following tools: write emails, schedule meeting, check calendar availability, tools, instructions. So this is the agent that we have created. Okay. Now what we need to do, we are creating our prompt. So we are specifying role as system, and we are creating and then we are passing the messages. And now let's see what exactly. So now if you see, this is actually the complete agent system prompt, right? Now let's create our agent. We'll pass these three tools, and then we are creating this agent where our model is OpenAI GPT-4o, tools, and the prompt that will define what agent needs to do. And then this is the content. What is my availability for Tuesday? So if you remember, we have hard coded it, so it should come up with those three availabilities. So now if you see so it has said that on Tuesday you have availability at 9 a.m., 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. So currently it is this thing, but ideally we need to provide access to the calendar, and once the agent has the access to the calendar, it can bring the details. But you understood, right? So first we are defined. So first, obviously, we are defining. We initially defined whether that AI agent can classify the email. Second, now we have defined how AI agent can actually access the calendar and give us the like available slots. Now let's create the overall agent which can perform all the things. So now if you see, first let's import all the modules library from these classes, and this is the entire thing. So we have passed the author, system prompt, right? For author we need all these things, right? To subject, email thread, system prompt, user prompt, and then we are invoking our LLM router, right? LLM router, and then it has to. So now if the result dot classification is respond, it will print this email requires a response, and then it will go to the response agent, and then it will basically respond to the email, right? Else if it requires ignore, it will print this email can be safely ignored and nothing has to be done. Similarly, if result dot classification is equals to notify, it will print this email contains important information, so we can just simply check that information. There is nothing which AI agent needs to do anything further. And then if not, then we are saying invalid classification. So now let's put everything together, all the things, respond agent, triage, and then let's compile everything. And now let's test our AI agent, which is acting as an email assistant. So we have this email input: marketing team, marketing at amazingdeals.com, exclusive offer. So basically this is a promotional email. And now let's see what our AI agent will do. So if you see, okay, now let's print. What is the response? So it's saying this email can be safely ignored. So if it's a promotional email, it has simply ignored it. Now let's say we have got an important email from the teammate Anjali Singh, the same email, and now let's see what. So now if you see, so it has responded that this email requires a response. And then what exactly the email that agent has come up with. So if you see, to Anjali Singh, subject, again basically it has replied. So content is: hi Anjali, thank you for reaching out. It's possible that the endpoints were omitted unintentionally. I will need to verify with the development team to get confirmation on this. I will get back to you shortly once I have the necessary information. Please let me know if there is anything else you need. Best regards, Rahul Dravid. Name, the tool name which was called write_email, and then what AI agent is saying: I have sent a response to Anjali acknowledging her query about the API documentation. Rahul will follow up with the development team to get more information regarding the missing endpoints and update her soon. So pretty cool, right? So we have created an AI agent that can act like an email assistant. Rahul got the email, and if the email was a marketing email, AI agent ignored it. But when it required an action, or basically a response from Rahul, it has created the response. We can also have this thing that instead of sending this response, we can have this response saved in a draft folder. So basically Rahul can go check that response. If it needs to be edited, he can do it, and then he can send the response. So I hope you like the video. I'll come up with more concept like these. So please do consider to subscribe me. Thanks for watching this. Bye.